Everything you know about yourself and the world might be built on an illusion. You've been taught to see yourself as separate from everything you observe, as if there's a boundary between you and the world around you. But here's the truth. That separation is a lie. The observer and the observed are one, and understanding this changes everything. This isn't just a shift in perspective. It's the key to unlocking a deeper connection to your life and the reality you live in. Stay with me, because once you grasp this, the way you see everything will transform in ways you never imagined. We've been conditioned to see ourselves as separate from everything around us. It's how we've been taught to understand the world, through division and labels. There's me, and then there's everything else. This way of thinking is useful in certain aspects of life, like identifying objects or making decisions, but it also creates a false sense of isolation. The truth is that the observer, you, and the observed, everything you perceive, are not two separate entities. They are deeply interconnected, like two sides of the same coin, constantly shaping one another in ways you can't always see. Let's take a closer look at how this plays out in everyday life. When you see a flower, you might think of it as a separate object, existing independently of you. But think about it. How do you know the flower exists? It's through your perception. The color, the shape, the scent, all of these are processed by your mind. Without your awareness, the flower as you know it doesn't exist. This isn't to say the flower isn't real. It's to say that your experience of it is inseparable from the act of observing it. You and the flower are part of the same interaction, the same process of existence. This idea becomes even more fascinating when you consider how your mind creates your reality. Everything you observe is filtered through your thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. For instance, two people might look at the same sunset, but one feels awe, while the other feels nothing. The difference isn't in the sunset, it's in the observer. Your perception shapes the world you experience, and in turn, the world shapes your perception. It's a continuous loop, a dynamic relationship where the observer and the observed are always influencing each other. Now let's talk about awareness. Awareness is the constant backdrop of your life. It's the silent witness to everything you think, feel, and do. But awareness itself isn't separate from what it observes. When you see a beautiful scene, the awareness of that beauty and the beauty itself arise together. They are not two, they are one. This realization can be profound because it shows you that the separation you feel is only a mental construct. The moment you see through this illusion, you begin to experience life in a way that feels whole, unified, and deeply connected. Consider your thoughts for a moment. We often identify with our thoughts, believing they define who we are. But where do thoughts come from? They arise from the same awareness that observes them. They are not separate from you, but they also don't fully define you. This is why meditation can be so transformative. It allows you to step back and observe your thoughts as they arise and fade, showing you that you are not your thoughts, but the awareness in which they occur. Let's expand this idea to emotions. When you feel joy, sadness, anger, or love, you often think of these emotions as things happening to you. But what if emotions are simply energy, arising and flowing through the same awareness that observes them? When you treat emotions not as separate entities but as part of the unified flow of existence, you stop resisting them. You begin to see them as teachers, guiding you toward deeper understanding and growth. This shift in perspective can lead to profound emotional freedom. This interconnectedness is even more apparent in relationships. Think about a conversation with someone you care about. While you may see yourself as you and the other person as them, what's actually happening is a shared experience. Your words, their responses, your feelings, their expressions, It's all part of a single dynamic interaction. When you realize this, relationships become less about me versus you and more about us. You start to see the other person as a mirror, reflecting parts of yourself you may not have noticed before. Now let's dive into how this affects your perception of challenges. When you face a difficult situation, it's easy to feel like the challenge is an external force acting upon you. But when you understand that the observer and the observed are one, you see that the challenge and your response to it are part of the same flow. The problem and the solution are interconnected. This doesn't mean challenges disappear. It means you approach them with a sense of unity rather than separation, which often makes them easier to navigate and resolve. The natural world provides one of the clearest examples of this unity. When you watch a river flow, you might think of the water as separate from the rocks, the air, and the plants around it. But they're all part of the same ecosystem, constantly interacting and shaping one another. In the same way, you are not separate from your environment. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the people you meet, they are all part of the same interconnected web of existence. Recognizing this can deepen your appreciation for the world and your place within it. This understanding isn't just philosophical, it's deeply practical. When you realize that the observer and the observed are one, you stop seeing life as something happening to you and start seeing it as something happening as you. This shift changes everything. You become more present, more compassionate, and more in tune with the flow of life. Decisions become easier because you're no longer trying to control something outside of yourself. You're simply aligning with the natural flow of existence. Your daily life is filled with opportunities to experience this unity. Whether it's a quiet moment of reflection, a deep conversation, or a walk in nature, every experience is a chance to see the interconnectedness of everything. The more you tune into this, the more you'll notice a sense of peace and wholeness emerging in your life. This isn't something you have to force. It's something you allow to unfold as you deepen your awareness. Finally, let's talk about transformation. Understanding the unity of the observer and the observed isn't just about intellectual insight. It's about experiencing life in a new way. It's about seeing yourself not as a separate being trying to navigate a disconnected world, but as an integral part of a vast, unified existence. This realization doesn't just change how you think, it changes how you live. You begin to approach life with a sense of wonder, curiosity, and deep gratitude for the interconnected web of existence that you are a part of. This shift isn't something you achieve once and for all. It's a practice, a way of being that deepens over time. As you continue to explore this idea and live it in your daily life, you'll find that the line between the observer and the observed becomes less and less distinct until it fades away entirely. In its place, you'll discover a sense of unity, peace, and connection that transforms not just how you see the world, but how you experience it. The relationship between the observer and the observed goes beyond just perception. It's the foundation of all reality. Think about the universe for a moment. Every star, every atom, every particle exists because there is something to observe it. Without observation, there is no interaction, no movement, no meaning. The act of observing doesn't just reveal reality, it actively shapes it. Quantum physics has shown us this truth with experiments proving that particles behave differently depending on whether they are being observed. This means that you, as the observer, are not a passive participant in reality. You are a creator, an active force shaping the world you live in through your attention and awareness. Your attention is one of the most powerful tools you have, yet it's often scattered across countless distractions. The observer and the observed are connected by the energy of attention. Where you focus your attention determines the quality of your life. If your attention is constantly drawn to negativity, fear, or judgment, That's the reality you'll create and experience. But when you direct your attention to growth, connection, and possibility, your life begins to reflect those qualities. Attention is like a spotlight. It brings into focus what matters most and allows it to expand. Learning to consciously direct your attention is one of the greatest skills you can develop. Let's explore how this dynamic plays out in your relationships. The way you observe others shapes how they show up in your life. If you view someone through the lens of judgment or preconceived notions, you limit your ability to truly connect with them. But when you observe with openness and curiosity, you create space for authenticity and understanding to flourish. This is why relationships can feel so transformative. They act as mirrors, reflecting parts of yourself that you may not have seen otherwise. The observer and the observed are not just connected, they are co-creators of the relational experience. Time itself is deeply tied to the relationship between the observer and the observed. We think of time as a constant, a linear progression from past to future. But in reality, time is experienced subjectively, shaped by the act of observation. When you are fully present, time seems to slow down. A single moment can feel expansive, rich with detail and meaning. Conversely, when your mind is scattered, time feels like it's slipping away. This connection between observation and time reveals a profound truth. The quality of your life is determined not by how much time you have, but by how fully you observe and experience it. Your body is another powerful example of this unity. Most of the time, we think of our bodies as something we have, rather than something we are. But your body is constantly in dialogue with your awareness. When you observe your body with care and attention, it responds. This is why practices like yoga, tai chi, and breathwork can be so transformative. They bring the observer into harmony with the observed body. Pain, tension, and even illness are often messages from the body seeking your awareness. By observing these sensations without judgment, you begin to unlock the body's natural ability to heal and balance itself. The natural world is a profound teacher of the unity between observer and observed. When you watch a bird in flight, hear the rustle of leaves, or feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, you are not separate from these experiences. Nature has no agenda, no ego. It simply exists in harmony with itself. When you observe nature, you are witnessing a reflection of your own essence, free from the mental constructs that create separation. This is why spending time in nature can feel so healing. It reminds you of the interconnected flow of life that you are always a part of. Let's go deeper into the mind. Your thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions are not fixed. They are shaped by the act of observation. When you believe something about yourself or the world, that belief acts as a filter, coloring everything you observe. This is why changing your mindset can have such a profound impact on your life. When you observe your own thoughts with curiosity rather than attachment, you begin to see them for what they are: temporary patterns of energy arising in awareness. This allows you to question, shift, and ultimately transform the beliefs that no longer serve you. The concept of the observer and the observed also applies to your dreams and aspirations. When you visualize a goal or imagine a future, you are both the observer and the creator of that vision. The clearer and more vivid your observation, the more likely it is to become reality. This isn't just about wishful thinking. It's about aligning your actions and intentions with the energy of your vision. When you fully embody the person who achieves that goal, the separation between the dream and the reality dissolves. The observed future becomes the lived present. Even silence carries the essence of this unity. When you sit in stillness, observing the absence of sound, you realize that silence is not empty. It's full of potential. It's the canvas upon which all sound arises. Similarly, the awareness observing the silence is inseparable from it. This realization can lead to profound peace, as you begin to see that even in moments of stillness and inactivity, there is a deep interconnectedness between the observer and the observed. Silence becomes a gateway to understanding the unity of existence. Finally, let's consider the infinite. The observer and the observed are not limited to the physical world. They extend into realms of imagination, creativity, and spirituality. When you close your eyes and imagine a new possibility, that imagined world is as real as the physical world in the sense that it exists in your awareness. This is why creativity feels so powerful. It's the act of bringing something into existence through observation and attention. Whether it's a work of art, a solution to a problem, or a moment of inspiration, the observer and the observed merge to create something entirely new. These concepts may seem abstract, but they are deeply practical. Every moment of your life is an opportunity to experience the unity of the observer and the observed, whether it's through mindfulness, connection, creativity, or simply being present. This understanding has the power to transform not only how you see the world, but how you live within it. The shift begins the moment you realize there is no true separation, only one interconnected reality, waiting for you to explore it. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. If this video resonated with you and opened your mind to new perspectives, don't forget to like and subscribe. By doing so, you're not just supporting the channel, you're becoming part of a community dedicated to growth, connection, and deeper understanding. Stay curious, stay open, and I'll see you in the next one.